So lock the door behind you, throw away the key, work it out together, let it bring us to our knees. Love is a shelter.
Hey guys, it's Pastor Todd, and what we're doing today in God's beautiful creation is doing our first video blog. You know, not too long ago, I was talking about deacons on a Sunday morning, and I thought it was important to just bring that subject to you here on the internet. You know, most of us don't even know what a deacon is or what he does. But it's pretty clear when you look at Acts chapter 6, what Luke records for us. In the beginning, when the New Testament church was exploding and growing, they had a classic case of what we still have in our churches: dissension. A certain set of widows weren't getting fed their food. And so the apostles came together and they say, we need some men who will be servants. And therefore they brought together the congregation, and the congregation selected from themselves 7 men who would be servants, who were worthy of respect. So I just wanted to share for a second that a deacon is a servant. See, a deacon is a lot of other things, but at the core of what a deacon is a servant. And that's what the deacons first came to do, to serve the congregation. Even in the name deacon, it's that Greek word diakonos, which means servant or table servant. So as the church was growing and the apostles couldn't do it, they had to have help from servants, and that's what the first deacons did. They served. So if you're looking for who you should nominate as a deacon one day, or who is serving in our church as deacons, and what should they be doing, ask yourselves, are they serving? Okay, not only do we know what a deacon is now, a servant, and what he does, well, he serves, but Paul also wrote a response to Timothy. I'm sure Timothy saw the story in Acts 6, or at least heard the story, and said, okay, that's great that you guys got deacons together in the early church, but can you flesh that out for me a little bit, Paul? And so Paul writes a letter back to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 3, and he gives some qualifications. 2 big ideas that come to my mind when you're looking at 1 Timothy chapter 3 is that deacons are men of integrity. This word integrity sums up most of the qualifications in there, the character of a man that you're looking for deacon. Integrity simply means doing the right thing when nobody's looking. See, anybody can do the right thing when somebody's watching, but the deacon's the kind of man, even as all believers, we should be kind of people that do the right thing when nobody's looking. Also, it seems to say that Paul is talking to Timothy there that deacons are not only men of integrity, but deacons are men of incomparable family values. He used words as like husband of but one wife and manages his household well. And there's been lots of confusion about the one wife thing. I feel like Paul there is talking about the character of a man, so he's not disqualifying any particular sin, but says, is this man dedicated to his wife for a lifetime? So as you now see that deacon's not something that we made up in tradition, it comes from Acts 6, and they were there in the early church, and they should be there now serving our church. And as you also thinking about what qualifies a deacon, is he a man of integrity? Ask yourself, what can I do? Well, what can you do? You can be praying for your deacon. And maybe if you're in the process at your church or even at our church, we're going through deacon nomination, pray for who will be our deacons. And then as a church, as we see in Acts 6, that the church grew because the apostles were allowed to preach the word, because the deacons were serving. Use your deacons. See, the church, it grows in Acts 6, and it'll grow today if we allow the deacon to do what he's called to do, to serve. Call your deacon if you need some prayer. Call your deacon if you need some service. If you are a deacon, go out there and serve. And maybe we'll see the same results as in Acts 6 verse 7. That the disciples, maybe even here in Ennis, will start to increase in number all the more. And the church will grow. God's will be done, and he'll be glorified.